Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there we go. What are we talking about today? Cyberpunk Starlink. On screen, spoilers. Get out of here. Anyway, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? I may also be getting rid of the last remnants of a chocolate hobnob. Don't judge. Don't judge. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know, I've got Danielle brought me a brew, so I'm sat there drinking my brew in my PUBG cup, which matches my PUBG outfit. But yeah, and then I turned to my side and I started 2 chocolate hobnobs in my biscuit jar. So I was like, well, I'm having one of them. It's Monday, you know, you need the extra energy. Job's good. How's things, babe?
Yeah, good man. How about you?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad, mate. Morning to Mike.
Oh, morning, Mike.
Go on, you currently what?
I'm currently updating our Discord with what's available because it's Monday. New stuff arrives in Pez, so it's all for you to get stuck into. There's new challenge cups and stuff, so I'm just letting the people know in our Discord what they can come to expect.
Anyone in the chat? Has anyone been playing Pez? What do you think? Mike says, "Morning, guys. Morning. Chappers. Now then. Also, Chappers is in the chat, and it's the first one this morning that's used one of the exclusive Ice Cream Upload subscriber emotes, and it's an audible emote as well because it sounds a little bit like this.
I haven't seen it, but I guess it's hello.
Yeah, that's the one. Lake as well. Good morning, sub. You enjoy the NFL? Lake says Chappers. Lake says NFL. So Mike got Trent. Fucker. I think I've got mistaken. Morning, Luke. Hey. I haven't had much time to watch it yet. Okay. So what's everyone got from their Pez spins? Has everyone done their Pez spins today? So for those of you that don't know, if you're not a Pez player, we work closely with eFootball Pez, and eFootball Pez 2021 is out right now. So we play it fairly often on the channel. We will be playing it after this show as well. We have Masters of the League, which is a modded PC Master League series, which will be following this show. I'm just going to log in the chat, but I've just seen it's not open as well. Not that I need it right now, but I'm logging in anyway, so it's done. So we play Pez fairly often, and every Monday and every Thursday you get new agents in it. So Thursday you get players of that week. So anyone who's played particularly well in football that week, you can get them as special edition players in your micro teams. Every Monday you get special agents, so they could be is Monday's Legends as well usually? Like at the moment it's like featured teams of Liverpool and Arsenal, but is that when we get Legends? I can't remember now. It's been so long since.
Yeah, is that not? I think that's usually. I mean, to be fair, the last time I played my club was a long time ago.
It's not
this
time
like
last year.
2 years. Yeah, I'm sure it's a Thursday.
But yeah, whether it's Monday or Thursday, you can get Legends or Iconic Moments players. And this week it's club specific, so there's Liverpool and Arsenal players in there. Just seeing what people have got. Mike's had Trent. Of course he has. Fucker. I mean, yeah, enjoy. It's an absolute pleasure to play with. Do you know what? I've got Danny Alves, who's like 97. Not overall age. I think he's 82 overall. I think he goes up to like 87 or something. But he's actually been really good, really solid. I mean, red form arrow today in the game, which wasn't great, but yeah, it's not been too bad. Degnan, morning Degnan. Oh, I laugh. He got Firmino, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Willock, Pepe, and Xhaka. Not a bad spread.
Nice.
Chappers said I had fucking gash all at defence, so I ended up with score lines like 6-5 right now because no one can stop my attackers and I can't defend.
That's exactly what mine's like. Shit at the back, shit out going forward.
Mike had Salah times 2 plus Trent Alexander-Arnold, Aubameyang, Pepe, and Xhaka. I had Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Saka from the Arsenal agent, and then had Salah. But I had 2 Salahs from last week, so he's my 3rd Salah, and he's not even going to get to a team. So feed it away, job's good. So Salah, Jordan Henderson, disappointed with both of those, and then the last one was Alisson. So I can't complain. Alisson, nice keeper. Get rid of Khan and his send it up into the heavens high punt trajectory keeping, and then bring in Alisson. So not too bad. What about you, babe?
I got. Let's go back into Discord again because I forgot already. It is. Where's it gone? Agents. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Saka, 2 Fabinhos, and an Alisson. I already had Aubameyang and I already had Fabinho, so I've just fed the original cards that I had into these. So I've got like a super Fabinho and a decent Aubameyang now.
Did you put them in the ICU Discord?
Yes.
And it'd be amazing if I was just about to type "I see you!" exclamation mark Discord in the chat, and I did. It worked. Oh wow! Exclamation mark Discord gives us a link if you want to share your players. We do have an area in Discord where you can do that. I haven't done mine yet. There you go. Check it out. Check it out. Mike's currently 5-2 up, and it's only half time. That's what happens when you get fullbacks. I mean, I've got Roberto Carlos, so my left back. I'm well happy with. He's exactly the kind of player that I like to play with. Danny Alves is actually decent despite not having the pace that I usually like at fullback. But yeah, I absolutely would love a fullback. A Trent Alexander-Arnold kind of player would be nice, but you know, it is what it is. Chucky Morning, Chucky says, I haven't opened anything yet. I keep forgetting. Do it. You've got until Thursday. Do it now. You might as well do it now and just tell us live in the chat so we can all celebrate with you as you get the second Trent Alexander-Arnold with the stream. The worst thing is me and Bibba had exactly the same Arsenal agents. Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Saka, and we played co-op together. We played yesterday undefeated. I'm just saying, we got the 4-peat and mugged in the first game, so it would have been 5 wins. It was a draw and 4 wins. Share your screen to the stream. Yeah, exactly. It's nice when me and Bibby get different players, but getting the exact same 3 players from the Arsenal spins wasn't the greatest. That said, there's not that much other from the Arsenal agent. I mean, Xhaka wouldn't have really got into my team. David Luiz maybe could have been an extra centre back instead of Congre, but yeah. Anyway, that's enough of Pez. We're going to jump into the news. Before we do, a few bits to go over first. One thing that Lake's just mentioned is that Mafia is out on Friday. Yeah. Me and Daniel still need to finish Mafia 2. Hopefully we can do that this week so we can finish it before the Mafia remake comes out on Friday. But other bits that we're going to mention are, if you're playing Pez and you've been doing your My Club spins and you want to play something else that's not My Club, maybe play against other people in predetermined matches, we have the Muscle Moose Cup ongoing right now. We had 3 qualifiers last week. The final 5 qualifiers are taking place this week, Monday to Friday. So 7 p.m. each weeknight, we will have a qualifier for people to qualify for a place in the grand final. Each tournament is only 8-man tournaments. Today's tournament has, I think, 7 sign-ups, so there's 1 spot. So if you have a desire to play Pez against other people and a chance and would like the chance to win some prizes, as well as appearing on the Twitch front page along the way, then there is 1 spot left for tonight. There's more spots left for tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but there's only 1 spot left today. So if you do want to get involved, we can share the link in the chat. I suppose you got the link to hand, have you, Bib?
I can in uno secondo.
I need to set up a command for that. Champa says, I'm loving the new iOS feature that means you can minimize the video but keep it open. It means you can browse and watch ICU all day now. I know, it's amazing. I keep doing it with Twitch. Like, laid in bed, and then I'll get a message come up, and usually means it's like, oh, well, that's it. Got to stop the Twitch stream now. Now you can just click on it, and like, multitasking, which, Android users have been able to do for ages. But still, yeah. Anyway.
I didn't want to boast or anything, but...
It's all right. It just looks better on ours, that's all. It's fine. I did say, I don't actually know what it looks like on Android, but yesterday I was looking for, there's new widgets and stuff, which Android's had for quite a while as well. So, like, you can, like, dedicate a set area to your screen for, like, what they call a smart stack on iOS. So you can have, like, the weather, and you can flick it up and it'll change to, like, Twitch stuff, and then flick it up and it'll change to something else. And I don't actually know what that looks like on iOS. All I know is that I saw an article yesterday where I was looking for, like, suggestions of the best ways to customize it, is that apparently, I mean, I could be completely wrong, you might all have different opinions, I don't really care myself, I'm being honest, but apparently Apple have taken Android's widget stuff and done it better. So, yeah, in your face, until 2 weeks' time when Android releases an update and then absolutely shits all over it. Look at you, absolute massive fanboy over there. Shit!
Absolutely not.
It's like having Jordan, honestly. It's like having Jordan. Look at him. I'm absolutely not. No, I'm not, mate. All right, Jordan, calm down.
Over there, let me go get my Android t-shirt.
So, yeah, apparently Apple have done it better, which doesn't surprise me, because when Apple do something, they absolutely knock it out of the park. But then Android will go, oh, I see what you've done there, and just take it all, and then iterate it in 3 weeks to 3 months, whereas it'll take iOS like another 7 versions of iOS to catch up again. But there you go. I've customized my widgets on my home screen, and now it looks the tits. There's some absolutely corky ones, though. I mean, I just used it to have, like, photos installed and bits like that. But yeah, anyway, tangents. We're jumping into the news. We don't have too much news today, which is probably good because we keep waffling for hours on end. I mean, I say waffling like it's just chatting shit. We are talking good talk. So for the last week or so, most of the scoop have been about an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes long ish, and that's because there's been a lot of news with the PS5 reveal and the pricing and the pre-order fiascos and all of that sort of stuff. So there has been a lot to talk about. But do you know what? We do have some more PS5 news today. We just aren't going to begin with it because we fancied a change. So the first news story of the day is Cyberpunk story is shorter than Witcher 3's because of complaints over length. Something we're all familiar with in this chat, right? Right. No. Calm down. I was on about the.
Absolutely not.
I was on about the game length. What you guys think? Honestly, you absolute animals. God, honestly. No, I'm not familiar with that because I've not played Witcher 3, obviously. Tremendous amounts of players didn't finish The Witcher 3, says Quest Designer. This is written by Andy Robinson for VGC. And he says Cyberpunk 2077's main campaign is shorter than The Witcher 3's because player data shows tremendous amounts of people didn't finish CD Projekt Red's previous game. That's according to the game's senior quest designer Patrick K. Mills, who said in a post stream following Friday night's Citywire via Reset Era that there would still be plenty to do outside of the main story missions. We do know that the main story run in Cyberpunk 2077 is slightly shorter than The Witcher 3, he said. We got a lot of complaints about The Witcher 3's main story just being too long. And looking at the metrics, you see tremendous amounts of people played through that game really far, but never made it to the end. We want you to see the whole story, so we did shorten the main story, but we have lots to do in terms of a completionist campaign. I just don't have that number. CD Projekt Red has previously suggested that Cyberpunk 2077's main campaign is shorter than The Witcher 3 story, but that it would make up for it with much higher replayability. According to an attendee of the developers' annual community event in Poland in February, CD Projekt Red said Cyberpunk 2077's side quests would be more complex than those in its previous title. Witcher 3's side quest system was reportedly, I've lost it now, described as a single line with a bunch of branches sticking out of it, whereas in comparison, CD Projekt Red said Cyberpunk 27's side mission will often evolve into further side quests, which in turn impact other quests, including the main story. CD Projekt has also claimed it's dedicated more resource to Cyberpunk 2077's open world missions than it did for The Witcher 3. According to the head of CD Projekt's Krakow studio, Cyberpunk 2077 will feature around 75 street story quests. Street stories are one of 4 quest types set to feature in Cyberpunk 2077 alongside the main story missions, side missions, and shorter minor quests. Developer CD Projekt Red previously described street stories as the bread and butter of a street merc like V, a bit like monster hunting for a witcher like Geralt. Completing street stories will give protagonist V more street cred, building the player's reputation around the city. In Witcher 3, we did the open world elements very late in the development process when we only had 2 or 3 people working on it or something, he explained. Now there's like 15 people doing these open world quests. CD Projekt Red revealed new Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay during its third Night City Wire live stream on Friday. But the gist of it is the story will be overall shorter, not short of content, but shorter in length at least. What's your thoughts, babe?
You see, I'm always a fan of it, providing the story is great and it's not been bloated out to try and hit a certain time length. Like I always use the Resident Evil one. Like Willis would never pay for a game that he doesn't think he's going to get the hours back. So, say for instance, when Resident Evil came out, it was 40 quid and you can complete the game in 10, 11 hours. If the story's great, then I'm happy to be able to do that. I mean, Resident Evil 7 is a fantastic game anyway. The storyline's brilliant. It's worth every single penny that you pay for it. I can understand from someone's perspective who may not be interested in uh, either this genre or the story, the sci-fi element to it. I can understand if you wanted it to be a 30, 40-hour game because it's a stretch, but it's achievable. Like it will take most of your time to be able to do it, but the story has to be on point. When you have a game like Dragon Age, for instance, that's like an 80-hour game, and then there's still a shit ton of side quests that you need to be able to do for it. That is obviously for the hardcore, but the writing is top tier, and it's an enjoyable 80 hours, shall we say. I don't want them to think that they're having to take essential parts of the storyline out to be able to make it achievable for people who may not have as much time. I feel like if there was to be able to do that, they'd have to put the storyline into like a DLC at the end of it. so that if you wanted to carry on playing, you have the ability to be able to. However, it will cost you more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that kind of ties into what Craig's just asked, as you mentioned that. So does that mean there will be no DLC, no DLC story if they're worrying about the length? I mean, I wouldn't say that. I would say DLC, especially if it's like paid DLC, then you'd expect that to have some substance to it. Because no, but I hate DLC that is money grabs, and one of my best games of all time is Red Dead Redemption. One of my worst things of all time is Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Mentioned it a million times, and I think I might have even mentioned it talking about Cyberpunk previously. Shit game. It's just like, okay, well, the monotonous stuff that you do in Red Dead that you'll just do to like keep the story moving forward. Yeah, we've just pulled all of that out and turned that into a standalone game that you have to spend 20 quid for.
Mm.
What the fuck? So
Yeah.
if they were to do that with this, you'd be disappointed. So I could see them saying, okay, people like the story and it's not a mammoth story, so they
Yeah.
will have a little bit more desire to jump back in and play a little bit more and spend a little bit more. And if Cyberpunk have shown one thing is that they don't want to take money off people hand over fist. So if they're going to charge you for DLC, you kind of feel that with everything else considered, their DLC will hit the spot if they do anything like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's where they put a little bit more of the length of the story. I also
Well,
feel they've spent so long doing it that that I thought, yeah, no, I believe that they won't have stripped the soul out of the story in terms of
yeah.
they've got a story that they want to deliver, and it will do that perfectly. Just not for 80 hours or whatever it's going to be. It'll be the 40 or 60 or whatever mark they're saying it's going to be, and it'll do that effectively. Hopefully, hopefully it's not just a case of, oh shit, we don't want it to be that long because the metrics, and they've gone, what can we take out after the fact, and started ripping out stuff, because then you
Yeah.
just end up with a Snyder Cut esque sort of like the pre Snyder Cut. Oh great, wow, he just went from being, oh look, he had a letter and now I just killed Superman, and it's like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
where did that just come from? So
That's my worry. They've got to a point now. I mean, they could have had this discussion 18 months ago. They've clearly got the data in the back end to be able to show that people have started The Witcher, and then a percentage of people have actually finished with the average time that it's taken them to be able to finish it. So that's good that they're using that to their credit, um, and their advantage. However, I hope that these conversations was happening 18 months ago when the story was being written and
yeah.
planned out in a timeline, rather than, like you said, getting to the end and going, shit, actually this data suggests, and then they're having to take out plot points on it, and then they'll say, actually, if we want to be able to do it, we'll have it as origin story or a character side story as a DLC to be able to go through, and it be in the same timeline, but because the camera's not on that person, they can go away and do that kind of thing. So yeah, I like the fact that it's catering to both markets. However, I will feel after completing it aggrieved if the story isn't quite there. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll be able to see if there's a bit of a plot point gone. Samantha's the worst for this. We'll be watching a film and she'll go, um, what's the word that she uses all the time when we're watching a film? And
Banana
like,
hammock.
no,
No,
it's
it's
like
not
the
banana hammock.
timeline goes a bit skewed or something like that. I can't remember what it was. A something error, like a contingency area or something like that. But
Continuity.
pardon?
Con-
Continuity area. Yeah, she'll know straight away. She ruins fucking films when we're watching it. Like, something will be one way, but then it'll instantly flip to the other and change the story completely. Like, she'll pick that shit out of thin air. So if I'm watching this, if I'm playing this stuff and I can feel the storyline going one way and then going the other, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But they need to keep this stuff to themselves, if I'm being perfectly honest.
See,
This kind of article and comments that they're having to take stuff out. People who are, look, if you scroll down to the bottom of this article, straight away the first comment: another blow casuals have dealt to the real gamers. This is why I feel like they need to take some of it. They need to just don't say this shit, because it'll already come. People will come into this game armed already.
see, I get that, but maybe it could be the other way around. Maybe people are drawing conclusions that are wrong in the essence that things have been ripped out. Maybe things were never going to be in it. And they're thinking, well, do you know what? Rather than trying to pad it out for that extra 20 hours that people would expect and
Mm-hmm.
give a shitter version of the game. I mean, Witcher is an incredible game. It won Game of the Year. It won shitloads of awards. Has led to a Netflix series and on all the rest. Phenomenal series. But if large numbers of people didn't finish it, there is an issue there.
Yeah.
So the casuals, I mean, that's a negative phrase put at the masses. So
Mm.
it's always, you can't always preach to the few. You should try to preach to the many. You should, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Quote Spock, Star Trek once again. But if you build a game just to satisfy the extremes, often aiming to satisfy the extremes can lead to wonderful experiences, but not all the time. So maybe
Yeah.
they've not even like ripped anything out. Maybe they've just gone, okay, well, we were already padding last time. Padding didn't work for the majority of people, so why don't we just keep the same level of content without unnecessary padding this time? Set, thank you very
Yeah.
much for the host, dude. Welcome in. Good morning. Good
Thank
morning.
you, mate.
So yeah, if it's the same level of quality of story, and if they've planned it from the beginning, then it's just the best way it is. I mean, it might not even be that. It might just be a case of, all right, we've hit. Let's say 60 hours is where it is. We don't know that, by the way, but let's say it's hit 60 hours, and they've actually looked at the data, and someone said, actually, do you know what, that works out really well. 60 hours is what we have, and 60 hours is 80% of people completed 60 hours of it last time, whereas 80 hours, only 30% of people completed it. So we're actually well into the majority, so that works really well. But yeah, I think it's like you say, it's a story that doesn't need to be a story. Even if it's done for the right reasons, and even if it's not even done for any reasons, and that's just the way it is. The story, you shouldn't weigh the success of one game that you haven't played from another game, and a metric that doesn't matter. The length of a story doesn't matter. The quality of the story is what matters. Nobody goes, actually, I'm going to go watch the new Top Gun film at the cinemas. How long is it? 131 minutes. So it's not even 2 hours. Fuck that shit. I want my money's worth out of it. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I need at least 160 minutes, 2 square hours. If it's not 160 minutes, I'm not bothered. Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says, oh well. I mean, video games a little bit more, but if it's over 20, 25 hours, then people don't tend to care. If it's so, I mean, yeah, if it's a mega mission game like 100 hours in, then maybe it starts to become something then. But yeah, don't make a story out of it. It doesn't need to be a story. It's irrelevant. If the game is good, the game is good. If it's a bit longer, it is a bit longer. And if it's a bit longer that people can't finish it, then were they ever going to finish it really anyway? And
Yeah.
it's a non-story in that sort of sense. Um, I'm glad it's short, says Chappers. I want to feel like I can finish it. Witcher 3 is a mammoth task for anyone who has a life or who wants to play other games. I mean, that's the thing as well, is we are going cross-gen. We have PC, we have console, and we have a very, very not suitable, not decent, but a strong alternative console now in the Switch. So all of that sort of stuff is commanding our attention. If you're trying to make someone sit down and play 80 hours of game, or 100 hours of a game, or however long it is, that will be contested. I mean, what we almost had, like, what was it, March, April? I mean, it obviously went to shit because of COVID, but there was like a game a week or two games a week. And things got delayed, but it was like Tsushima and Final Fantasy and blah 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 blah, all just landing on top of each other. Yeah, it got spread out over time. But if you've got 80 hours in there, that would be reason enough for a lot of people to not
Yeah.
finish the Witcher. So
I
yeah,
agree.
having a long game doesn't necessarily make it a better game. Iceman says
Again,
that.
it all comes down to the writing, though. It all comes down to the writing. If the writing's good and you don't feel like you've been sat there for 3 hours playing a game, that's perfect. That's the kind of world that you want to be in. And that's where I found myself playing a lot of single player games recently. We spoke about this at length before, say that it feels like the single player game is that a rejuvenation. It's not just about playing online and um, playing in ranked matches on whatever game it is that you're going to be playing, on whether or not it's a first person shooter or a sports game. It feels like the single player games are starting to get love again. And that for me is absolutely everything. That's the reason why I got involved in gaming in the first place. Yeah, it's nice being able to sit next to your mate and beat him at whatever game it is that you're playing. But when it comes to having experiences, I'd much rather play a game than watch a film, especially if the storylines, the writing's as good as it can be.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's written well, then it doesn't matter as much. Iceman says, I don't care about the length of the game story as long as I enjoy it. I'm happy. If it takes its time, fair enough. If it's short but offers a lot more in terms of replayability, fair enough. Chappers is like Spider-Man and Portal 2 are a couple of my favourite games ever, and they're short as hell in comparison. If a game is long and arduous, and to be honest, a bit boring, i.e., unpopular opinion, Red Dead Redemption 2, then I'm not a fan. Red Dead Redemption 2 is I wouldn't say that's an unpopular opinion from my perspective. I agree. I never finished Red Dead Redemption 2. I still have it installed on my console, taking up shitloads of space because I want to finish it. But it was just something wasn't there. Iceman says the ultimate test for a good story, regardless of length, is whether you'd want to play it again. So Red Dead Redemption 2, I wouldn't want to play again. Red Dead Redemption, I would want to play Red Dead Redemption again. 131 minutes is over 2 hours. Did I say 131? Oh, I meant 1 hour 31. Oh, but yeah, good maths. Quick maths, Graham. I think it will have that many side quests and other things going on that will keep that many side quests and other things going on that will keep both sides of the coin happy anyway. Yeah, I expect so. Update.
To be fair though, side quests, they need to change. The side quests itself in most games are monotonous and the same thing over and over again. It's so boring because it'll be like which would like Saints Row. Saints Row, that's a prime example. You were doing something, you need to go and protect your territory, so you'd have to go all the way back up, defeat all the bad guys that are going to be coming. Okay, move back away again.
See
It's just the
that
same
is
thing
Red
over
Dead
and over
Redemption
again.
Undead Nightmare. What you've just said then, that is Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Flash! Your area is under attack. Apart from change the other guys invading Stillwater to zombies hitting like the whatever area of the map, and you just go and kill the zombies and then
Yeah.
move up. That's it.
There's literally the same thing over and over again. So if they can change that formula and the side quests are actually something a little bit different, this is the thing with MMOs. I've kind of glazed over it because of how much I play MMOs, especially the likes of ESO. There is a lot of
Did you play
grinding
that?
in there because it's the same thing again.
Have you played that?
What?
ESO.
No, never.
I didn't know. You should have mentioned
Never
that one
mentioned it
previously.
at all, did I? Never mentioned it at all. But no, the grinding aspect of like an MMO, for instance, is the side quest stuff is just the same thing over and over again. It doesn't matter what map you're on or what city or town you go to the place. You have to defeat a dungeon boss. You have to go and find the scrolls. You have to go and find the books. You have to go and find the little dungeons, clear the dungeons. It's the same thing over and over again. And after a while, you kind of get burnt out from it. So I'm hoping that with this game, with how good it is potentially going to be, that they change the way that side quests are being dealt out. I hope it's a different thing for every side quest. Like it's actually worth going for because you might get, I don't know, a better gun or a new perk or I don't know,
Well,
a new bit.
reading this here, the street stories, which are the bread and butter of a street merc like V, a bit like monster hunting for a Witcher like Geralt. Completing street stories will give protagonist V more street cred, build the player's reputation in around the city. And there was also a bit earlier on where they were saying these missions directly impact on the story as well. So they're not necessarily just side missions. They're something it's a bit more open worldy, but do feedback the impact on other side missions. So your side missions all start linking into each other. So it's not just go off and Assassin's Creed pickpocket someone, go off and GTA kill someone. I mean, GTA did start feeding into other stuff, so you'd start to hear like if you did kill someone, you'd have little bits like it'd come through the radio stations or something like that. You did get to bits like that, but in this, they were kind of saying that it will feed back in. And then where was the comment? In Witcher 3, we did the open world elements very late in the development process, where we only had 2 or 3 people working on it or something. Now there's like 15 people doing these open world quests, so that in itself makes you think, okay, well, if they've times the number of staff on it by 5-ish, then yeah, that could offer a good chunk of additional content outside of the main storyline that still feels like the main storyline. But Craig got a comment that says, I think it will have that many side quests and other things going on that will keep both sides of the coin happy. Side quests in The Witcher sometimes felt like main missions, so I'd hope Cyberpunks are the same. Yeah, exactly, especially if it does feed back into the main storyline. I mean, like I said, it's a non-issue for me. It's a non-issue. The fact that it's not as long as The Witcher 3. I've not played The Witcher 3. I've played some games that are 13 hours long and loved them, and I've played some games that are 40 hours long and loved them. I've played some games that are 90 minutes long and loved them. So it's just about the quality of the experience over that. And I would be baffled if Cyberpunk doesn't have enough tools from what we've seen already to build a quality experience. I'm not saying that it's going to be great off the bat. I mean, obviously, writing, as Bib said, is what defines that. You have to hope that they've got some decent writing teams there with what they've delivered previously, but they definitely have the functions that we've seen to make something be substantial enough to command that. But as for single players, I completely agree. I mean, look at the single player revival we've had. Obviously, we've got Cyberpunk inbound. We've had Ghost of Tsushima. We've had another Resident Evil game this year. We've had The Last of Us, Avengers, which obviously does have Destiny-esque element, but has a strong campaign. And tying into it, because I've seen Mr. T and Lake, who both are linked to this. Lake because he's mentioned it already, and Mr. T because, well, he knows. But Mafia Remake comes out on Friday, the 25th. So single player definitely exists, and I don't think many people go into it expecting it to keep them occupied for a certain amount of hours. If you do that, then you're doing single player wrong. You should be going into it to expect an experience that you enjoy, not an experience that keeps you occupied for a set amount of time. Speaking of Mr. T, there's a place for big. There's a place for big open world story games, and there's a place for more succinct focused games, as long as they are of a good quality, even though that's subjective. In this case, CDPR, using The Witcher 3 as an example, do main story stuff well, and the side stuff is of amazing quality too, as in they inject into the main story and added to it. So to sum this up, no issue, Cyberpunk 2077 will deliver. Lake says, do you have any idea if Mafia is coming to Game Pass, or are those just for Microsoft Studios games for launch day? Look at that, trying to get exclusives. I see you.
I know. Well, ask him. Where else would you? We had 66,000 people watching me play PGA Tour when they first came out. So if there's any place that deserves an exclusive, it's right here. Give us something tasty.
Yeah. Witcher 3 is a game that has interested me, but I've never had a chance to get it. Same, Iceman, same.
Well, you can pick it up for about £3 on PSN store when it's on sale.
It's probably gone back up in price now because it's going to get remastered or something or whatever. So yeah. I have to wait until next week for Mafia, as I will get it from a store that has it a bit late. Asim says, even if I did, not that I do, I wouldn't say here. There would be a proper comms plans around it. The comms plan, I mean, it would say here, obviously, but the comms plan would build up to it. That's what he's trying to say. We know
As he tapped his nose.
That was a yes.
I'll be right back. Just going to go for see the little boy's room. I shouldn't say that.
I'm going to say, just to confirm for anyone that doesn't know the idioms and stuff in English, Bibby doesn't have a room full of little boys. This is fine. This is fine. Gatekeeper TV says, surprise Witcher wasn't in the list of PlayStation Plus collection games. Yeah, I wonder if that's because it's being updated for both gens. So there's not really any form of exclusivity there, so they've probably kind of gone, okay, we're not going to add it to the PlayStation Plus collection. And not only that, Cyberpunk, not that they're in bed with Microsoft, but they've already aligned with Microsoft for the smart delivery announcements, so maybe they've just gone, okay, well, we'll keep away and we'll just do big stuff that we command. I know that it's not all just that, because there was some, what was the other ones? There was at least one that was mentioned that wasn't a PlayStation one. I can't remember. All I've got is Nathan Drake and Uncharted 4 in my head, but yeah. I feel I was a little guilty of not starting a story game with the right mindset with Breath of the Wild. I enjoyed it, but I'm nowhere near finished, and I haven't played it for a while. I'm thinking on restarting it and playing with a proper mindset. I mean, I've done that a few times.
Thank you for the ice cream.
Hey, Precision, thank you very much for the host, dude. Bibby's just come back from his room full of little boys, so it's fine. I was just saying, as you got up then, I was like, I just want to confirm, for those of you that don't speak English and don't understand the idioms, Bibby doesn't have a room full of little boys when he said he's off the little boys' room. I don't know if we've got your audio, actually. Say boobies.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Just RTX.
I was too embarrassed to talk.
Just RTX your voice, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all. So yeah, non-issue really. It's nice to start off with a different story that's not PS5 related, but The Witcher and the mammoth story length that is in that is not going to be copied for Cyberpunk. Not necessarily that you're not going to get enough of a story. There'll be significantly enough story. Plus, the way that they're talking about, rather than a tree and branches, and almost like an interweaving web, everything links together. Expect shitloads of world-class content from Cyberpunk, unless you hear different. I mean, like we say, there is the danger that it could be. I always say the Snyder Cut, but I don't mean Justice League. It's Batman versus Superman. That was a rushed story to make it fit into time, and I'm led to believe from everything I've heard from a million different sources that the same thing happened with Justice League. As long as it's not that sort of situation where they've pulled stuff out just to make it fit at a number that's ambiguous. Oh, it needs to be 60 hours, no more, because that's an ambiguous number. Well, it's not ambiguous. It makes sense based on past numbers. But if it makes the 60 hours pointless, then it is an ambiguous number and it's just irrelevant. But nothing suggests that it is that, just that they've learned from previous things and that it will be a more succinct and delivered story that people can digest and finish. Precision says, baby having a massive dump midstream. GG. Dumps wait for no one.
If it was that quick, I deserve Olympic gold. Do you know what I mean? that was quick.
I mean, I'm not going to say it, never mind. I was going to go a bit too grim there. But let's move ahead. Next news article of the day, back onto the PS5 and next-gen consoles, is that the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch size comparison shows off just how big the next-gen units are. You may have seen this towards the end of last week. Me and Bib... actually, was it yesterday or was it the day before? I can't remember. I remember sending you one of these images, but I don't actually remember exactly when it was.
Yeah.
But the article written by Dom Pepiat for VG247 says, we already know that the PlayStation 5 is the biggest games console in modern history, but a new illustration has made it clear just how big the machine is. Over on Twitter, illustrator and 3D model maker Case Sawada? There we go. Case Sawada has put together a series of images that really put the size of the next-gen consoles into perspective. The PS5 is placed next to a Nintendo Switch, an Xbox Series X, an Xbox Series S, a 30-inch TV, and a regular PS4. The difference in dimensions is clear to see. I will click on the images shortly. I'll just finish the article. Mike! 510 bits! What a guy! Thank you very much for the bits.
Legend.
I kind of need to change that alert as well, because it starts so loud and so rapid that it always catches me off and it makes me jump a little bit. Someone did it the other day. It might have been Mike the other day, actually. I think it was. Scared the shit out of me when it happened to them as well. But thank you very much. I appreciate the bits, mate. I'll click on the images shortly. I'll just finish the article first. Sony's next-gen PlayStation towers above the other consoles and almost threatens to match the size of the TV too. It really is a massive bit of kit. We know why Sony's machine is so big. It's mostly due to cooling. Matt McLaurin, the Vice President of UX Design at PlayStation, has previously explained in a post on LinkedIn that the PS5 runs very hot. As such, it needs more space to adequately vent the heat. The console hasn't even launched yet, and it's already causing a schism online. Some gamers think, I don't even know what that word is. Some gamers think it looks pretty. Some gamers think it looks pretty and futuristic. Others think it looks outdated and imposing. Whatever you think of it, though, you can't argue it's absolutely massive size. The PS5 is approximately 390mm tall, 260mm deep, and 104mm wide, and the digital version is only 12mm slimmer. Sony will release two consoles in November, the standard model and the digital model, and they'll set you back. Dollar prices there, but it's 449 quid. Whoop, didn't mean to click that. 449 quid and 399, I think it was. But yeah, there you go. Let me find this article. We'll go back because I accidentally hit a link. There we go. So these are what the images look like. Let's click through to Tweet Whore. So this is the size of a 30-inch TV stood on a desk unit. That's the size of a Nintendo Switch. That is the size of the PS5, which is absolutely ginormous. Next image is side by side. The Switch is like not even a third. It's not a quarter. It's between a quarter and a third of the size. That's insane. There you go. These are the images. So that's a PS4, which is already fairly tall. It's like an extra 25% on top of a PS4. That's huge.
Front windows coming out to get these bad boys in, aren't they? It's
just
fucking massive.
cranes
Like the
coming.
American shows where they got the like a big guy and he can't get out the door, so they have to take the window out on the side of the house. That's what it's going to be like trying to get this PlayStation 5 in through the window. I can't imagine how heavy it is. Has there been any weights knocked about for it? Like
I,
how much it actually weighs?
I believe it weighs 3.5 metric fuck tons. Like, look at that.
Right.
That is
I'm worried
ridiculous.
about my desk, you know. My desk might fall apart when I put it on. It might have to stay on the floor or something.
That is insane though. Like, that's a 30-inch TV. Let me click 30-inch TV there. That's the PlayStation. Look at that. It's just like fucking absolute mammoth. Look, I mean, the funny thing is, look at the little unit underneath. Like, you've got like, oh, shelf space, and then like you've got like PlayStation shelf space.
That's what I mean. Like, what are the shelves for now? Like your Sky Q box or something? Because you ain't getting any. Like, I haven't been able to fit my PlayStation in something like that. I'll be Xbox One, for instance. None of them bad boys are fitting under there either, are they? So what's that for? They put your controller on.
Just put all your discs. Oh wait, you bought the digital edition. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let me click alternate cam as well. So I don't know if it's in the right angle. So this is, if I turn this that way a little bit more, this is my PC, and this is my PS4 Pro. It's gonna be more like the size of my PC. I have to move my monitor to make extra space to fit it in there. It's gonna be like having a PC next to a PC. That's incredible. The size. I knew it was.
Tell you what. I hope these aren't noisy. Imagine, like the PlayStation 4, it's not that big. Like it's much smaller than the Xbox One, but it's louder than the Xbox One. If that PlayStation 5 is any louder than this PlayStation 4, God help the rest of the street. Everyone's gonna know when you're playing on your PlayStation 5.
Right. Everyone's gonna know on the stream as well. Not from the noise, but it'd be like sat in a wind tunnel. Your cheeks will just be flapping as you turn it on. That much cooling in it. I mean, I understand that. I mean, I would rather have my console be well vented and cooled than turn off just for using a smoke grenade in the last circle of PUBG. So I'd be on board with that. But fuck, I mean, we covered an app about 6-7 months ago, and it was like you could use your camera to show what the PlayStation would look like mocked up in your living room or whatever. And I was like, nah, that's massive. It's never gonna be that big. Well, okay, well, revisit that. It fucking clearly is. Let's see if I can find it. Great. PS5.
That's what I mean, Mike. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like my desk, I don't know what it's going. I'm gonna have to reinforce my desk somehow, like glue it to the wall or something. Obviously, not glue it. No more nails. That fucker's coming down with no more nails. I'm telling you now. But the chat is going wild. Everyone can't believe how big it actually is. Mr. Proxo says our new pack's available. Yes, the featured players on PES are available today.
I see what you mean.
Chat
Chat is absolutely firing. Welcome in, everyone, by the way. Just before I jump back into the chat, I'm going to show you this. This is, you can see the unit I've got. So that black space there is where my PS4 usually is. So you can't quite see it because it's a grainy picture. But I have my Xbox One S, and it's sat on like a Perspex shelf. Next to it, I have my Switch. So my Switch sits in the dock just there. That's fine. Underneath that, there's like a gap where my PlayStation would usually sit. I've taken my PlayStation out. It's upstairs. So on this picture, that's why there's loose wires there. There's my Astro headset hiding away. But I saw that PS5 there and thought it's never going to be that big. It's probably going to be bigger than it is on that image there. So there's me like seeing if I can make it look like I could slot it down the side of my TV. It's fucking same size as the unit. So next gen, don't buy yourself a unit. Just buy yourself a couple of PS5s and put a bit of wood across it. Fuck.
It's going to be the same size as a PC tower, I think.
That is ridiculous. So jumping back in, Mike says I've been tempted to do it whilst you're sneaking about on PUBG. Not gonna lie, I've had it done before. I don't think I ever got clipped, but one of my earlier games as well, someone dropped bits and I jumped, shot my gun. There was no one around. It wasn't that kind of like super scary sort of thing, but it caught me off guard. I was like, just shot away. So anyway, there you go. Cheers, mate.
It might actually be bigger than a Fiat 500. Genuinely, if it sticks some wheels on it and it's bigger than the car.
Just that's it. Just get the wheels off the bottom wheelie bin. Like back in the day, we used to make go-karts out of like old bins or old prams or whatever. Take some pram wheels off, stick it on, jobs are good, and that's it. You can. I mean, it's got that much engine power on. Just load up a smoke grenade in PUBG and it'll push you to work. Shimmer says, I personally think that the PS5 looks grim, the worst design by choice since the Spider-Man front on the PS3. I actually quite like it now. But
I'm with him on that. If it was a black console, then I'd probably change my mind. But I just think it looks ugly.
I definitely can see the black console coming. I definitely didn't like it when we first saw it. I was like, ugh. And then when we saw the black consoles, I was like, see the Miles Morales version that got mocked up? Yes, give me that. Or the one with the blue on it? Yes, give me that. But then as time went on, I was like, actually, it just looks a bit plain. So I don't mind it that much now. I definitely can see that won't look as good in my unit as my PS4 Pro or my PS4 does. That will definitely look... Well, it actually won't look good in my unit because it's not going to go in my unit. Even if I take all my drawers out, it's not going to fit in my unit. That cannot be right, says Degnan. No way, I need a forklift to get it in the house. Precision. I need a new room to fit my PS5 in. What the fuck? Bring it in through the window, mate.
Just like my whole street is just going to be full of like delivery vans and forklifts trying to get these new consoles through on November 19th.
Oh, gutted. I mean, it's like usually your delivery van, like be it a Yodel or whatever, someone that turns up in like a little T5 transporter or something like that, a little whatever, nice little white van. You're not going to get that. You're just going to be sat in your living room just hearing like beep, 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 as this like 18-wheeler articulated lorries reversing down the road with PS5s. How many have you got in the back of that, mate? 3. All right, nice. Degnan, that's bigger than my child. Oh, amazing. Yeah, there you go. Craig just said it. Amazon will be delivering these in lorries. It's a beefy bacon, no mistake.
It's a beefy bacon, no mistake. Fucking great style. Love me a beefy bake.
Need King Kong's hands to hold the controller. Salty Doggy! They'll all need this. They need all the space for the backwards compatibility stuff. Oh, wait.
Don't.
Mr. Pog says, Mamma Mia is more bigger than my PC. Exactly. That's a big PC. And it's going to be about the same sort of height as it. I'm surprised that desk isn't buckling underneath it. Yeah, that's why it's a mock-up. If it was they couldn't do it with real things because straight through. I'm still stuck on the Twitter picture. Are you? Is everyone else stuck on the Twitter picture? We should be here. Hi.
Can they hear us?
Craig says, bang it on a couple of bricks. I measure up my TV unit space and phew, my PS5 will fit lying flat. Mine potentially would do in that unit, but then I'd have nowhere to put my Xbox Series S either, or my Switch. So I'd have to find a home for the other two. So I'm probably going to put the PS4 back downstairs under, so I can show you. So in this area, I'm going to have my PS4 and my Xbox Series S there, and then this absolute meaty unit is going to be sat upstairs here next to my PC. I think that's the plan for it. I can hear you, but I'm stuck on the Twitter mock-up. That's what happens when you donate bits. You break Twitch. Maybe refresh or change it, or if you don't want to refresh it, just change the settings, so drop it from like 1080p to 720p, and then back up, and that usually kind of kicks it into life for me. Don't know if that'll work for you. But seems like it's just for you. So that's the treatment you get when you donate bits to us, mate. So next time you will not support the stream, will you, mate? Yeah, thinking about it, mate. Wow. Anyway, speaking of games and spaces and storage and all of that, that's quite a nice tie in to our final article of the day, sticking with PS5. This one, there we go, on screen. Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition will take up at least 105 gig on the PS5. And in terms of physical space, that'll be like 0.1 inches of the bottom corner of the console. So yeah, if you're just pouring it in like it was liquid, you'd be able to store 250,000 copies of Spider-Man without space. Hey, I'm joking. Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition is going to take up a lot of space on your PlayStation 5's SSD. Written once again by Don Pepiat for VG247, the article goes on to say, ahead of any day one patches that may arrive for the title, it looks like the next gen title is going to take up a big chunk of your solid-state drive space. After the revelation that the Ultimate Edition of the game will arrive with a remastered version of the base game, the base PS4 game at the PS5 showcase, we've now got an idea of just how much space the game will take up. According to the PlayStation website, the Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Launch Edition weighs in at 105 gigabytes minimum, with the regular edition of the game taking up just 50 gig minimum. Why is the Ultimate Edition so big? Well, developer Insomniac Games has explained that art assets have been completely updated to take advantage of the PS5's power. That means the game will have improved lighting, updated skin, eye, hair, and facial animations, ray tracing, and more besides. So that explains the massive size. A site for Demon's Souls has also gone live, revealing the game requires a minimum of 66 gigabytes of space on your drive. Miles Morales and the PS5 remaster of Spider-Man will be available at the PS5's launch from November 12th. The base game without the remaster is priced at $50, and the Ultimate Edition will set you back $70, like most other PS5 games. So you need a bigger console, and if this trend continues, you will need a bigger hard drive. Do you know what? That's actually disappointing for me. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's disappointing that it's a 50 gig game is now 100 gig, because obviously it's double in size. It's less capacity. Off the bat, you're going to go, well, it's got 4K textures, potential of up to 8K, or unless I'm getting that mixed up with the Xbox, going forward. So 100 gig, obviously, if you're going from standard textures to 4K textures, 120 FPS, and you've got ray tracing and all that stuff, it's going to take up more space, which I get. But one of the comments that came out previously was the fact that SSDs don't need to duplicate textures like HDDs do, so that will take out some of the space. And yeah, that duplication process, quite often one asset, one cat that's in the game walking down the street could be put into the coding rather than just once and then reused. It would be put in 60 times so that the HDD can call on that data by just jumping to the next little bit over rather than going to the other side of the hard drive. So yeah, it now going up to 100 gig from 50 gig, and this is the very first game. Kind of either it's just PlayStation. Actually, no, I'll take it back again. I'm going to say either it's just PlayStation haven't figured out how to fully utilize the space properly, but then again, if PlayStation and Insomniac Games that are making a first-party title that's exclusive to PlayStation can't get a 50 gig game in less than 105 gigabytes, then what is Activision going to do that can't get an update to COD without it being 130 gigabyte? How are they going to be able to? I mean, what do we expect? Warzone is going to be like when we get Black Ops Cold War coming out. It's got to be 250 gig at least, surely, if we're going for that duplicating size. So yeah, I'm not averse to it. 100 gig, if it's going to look phenomenal and play phenomenally, it's a game that you can finish in 25 to 30 hours ish, I think. It's not going to stay in your hard drive all the time, but if that's setting the bar for what's to come, then it's a little bit worrying. Is that? What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah. Do you remember the days back in the days of old school gaming where you used to play games off a disc, and then you would only save your save states onto your hard drive or onto your memory card?
Yeah.
Those days are well and truly gone, aren't they? Like if you're having a disc, how much data can a Blu-ray disc hold? Is it 55 gig or something like that?
Something like that.
So instantly when you put your disc in, basically your disc nowadays is literally there for a licensing agreement. It's not there for anything else. Like you're not playing the games off a disc anymore. You're putting the disc in, it will download the game, and then you're playing the game off your hard drive. It's a very weird thing. It seems like we've kind of gone backwards in that respect. I thought they would have made a bigger capacity disc by now to be able to stop this from happening, but 105 gigs straight off the bat, a little bit annoying. Obviously, it goes without saying, if these games are straight out the box at 4K, then the resolution, the textures, everything else is going to be ramped up through the roof. So it is going to be a bigger save state on your console. But it's just like Mike said there, if you get in the cheap Xbox, you're knackered straight out the gate. You're having this and possibly another game and a half. If you're having a if you're having Call of Duty, you can have Call of Duty and Spider-Man, maybe not Spider-Man because you can't get it on the Xbox, but using that as an example in the bar of 105 gig, you ain't going to get much on there, and it's a little bit annoying to see, but it's what we've always wanted. We've always wanted realistic versions of games. We've always wanted better graphics and stuff, and that comes at a cost. And unfortunately, it's come. The cost is going to be in our wallets because we're going to have to go and buy bigger hard drive space and things like that.
Yeah. Jumping into the chat. Mike says 105 gigabyte. Fucking hell, you're going to get one game on the cheap Xbox. Iceman says you'll need one console for COD and one for everything else. just let me load up my Warzone PS5. Yeah, there we go. I mean, it is. I'm not against it. Once again, I'm not against 105 gigs for Spider-Man because if you could play it and it's exceptional, wonderful, and then you can add to the hard drives. I mean, it's proprietary on Xbox, but on PlayStation they're making it so that compatible hard drives from any manufacturers can be used with it, so you can have expanded storage on it. So that's not too bad. But yeah, I am a bit disappointed. I'm a bit disappointed because I know that when you've got an 895 gig or a 985 gig hard drive or something, it was whatever the number was. Well, you can install Spider-Man, you can install Call of Duty, you can install Godfall, and then you've probably got two more games maybe afterwards. So it's kind of like having a poor quality, not a poor quality, that's the wrong wording, an early PS4, a 500 gig hard drive, like what you've got at the moment, Bib. You say you can only install a few games at once. I've got a terabyte and I'm still having to delete bits here and there. So yeah. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's the only negative I've seen so far because I feel like that doesn't back up with what's said previously. They've said that hard drive space isn't growing exponentially, but the size of games isn't growing exponentially, and that's just an ultimate edition of an existing game, and it's already twice as much. Something that will be built from the ground up could potentially be bought. Maybe that's it. Maybe the fact that it's a remastered version of an existing game that hasn't been built specifically to get everything out of that engine. So maybe if for that system, maybe if something has been built just for PS4 from scratch, for PS5 from scratch, then maybe it would be less. I don't know. Maybe I'm just clutching at straws. FIFA Analyst, thank you very much for the follow, dude. Welcome in. Good morning. Marlon Antonet. Hey, morning, Marlon. How's things? Well, I can imagine in about 5 years' time, gigabytes are going to be as trivial as megabytes as the technology and internet speeds inevitably improve with each year. 10 to 15 years ago, a 50 gig hard drive would have felt like a luxury. I remember going back in my day when I was at school doing. I did a GMVQ in manufacturing, and we were comparing technology and storage space and circuitry and so on, and it was something like you go to Clinton's Cards or wherever you get your cards, other card retailers are available, and you get a card that just open it and it just does like a just like hums happy birthday to you. There's more technology in one of those cards than there was in the whole world in like 1950 or whatever. So it definitely will change significantly, but I didn't think games would change that significantly when the hard drive space. I mean, we have SSDs, which is much more superior than in a HDD, and we can tack on HDDs as well, and that will become cheaper and the availability to do that. But having games stored on your HDD, you'll constantly be switching games off of your HDD onto your SSD so that you can play some super fast loading speeds with all of the ray tracing and all the benefits of that. I mean, can you even play with ray tracing when it's on a HDD? I know you don't get the super fast loading speeds, but yeah, it feels like it could be Shuffle City, or it's one of those things where 3 years down the line we're all buying the PS5 Pros that's got a 2 terabyte SSD or something like that because yeah, it's just what demands. I'm not against buying a PS5 Pro. I just don't want to keep spending on storage space. Anyway, Chapper says, sorry, been lurking because meetings. How dare you have meetings? This is the scoop. We only do this each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. This is going to end up meaning I'll need a 5 terabyte SSD for my PC, isn't it? Yes, it is. David says, I remember when accessories that were needed for a console were a second controller. Now you need a decent internet connection, bigger hard drive, and a sturdy desk.
Yeah.
It's like when you go in to buy the PS5, and it's like, can I interest you in buying this HDMI? It's got gold-plated ends, so the connections are much faster, and all sorts of incorrect sales bullshit that doesn't actually really exist and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I'm all right, mate. I've already got HDMI. How can I interest you in? And then all of a sudden, they're like offering you some sort of like construction, like scaffolding. Do you want some scaffolding? Anything to reinforce your desk? Why the fuck am I going to reinforce my desk? You've not picked up the PS5 yet, have you? Ah! PS1 and PS2 just needed a memory card. Yeah, although
That's
PS2
what I mean, though, because you used to read the games off the disc.
PS2 memory cards were expensive though. Bloody hell, well expensive.
Yes, they was.
Or so we thought.
Well, yeah, but Sony have got a farm for this kind of stuff anyway, don't they? Does anyone remember the PS Vita? One of the reasons why it died in the first place because you have to spend £7,000 to be able to get a 32 gigabyte memory card for your console.
Yeah.
Like, play the game. Play the game. Well, you could try, but you can't save it.
Chapper says the Wii ruined gaming. Changed my mind.
Lies. I love the Wii.
You've not played
Still love the
You've
Wii.
not played PES on the Wii, then, mate. Clearly, it was one of the best PES experiences that you will ever have. Just don't play with,
Absolutely.
not with
Anyone
the
who's played
nunchucks.
retro PES, not with the nunchucks, no, with the actual controller, PES on the Wii was just as good as it was on the PlayStation 2, and they were the glory days.
Yeah. Shimmer says I rotate which games are on my release date PS4. No external hard drive, so just delete what I'm not currently playing and re-download it if I feel the need to go back. That's similar with me. I have a 1 terabyte hard drive on my PS4 Pro, but I keep having to delete things because I have an unfinished Horizon Zero Dawn save. I have an unfinished Spider-Man save, an unfinished Red Dead Redemption save. So yeah, those are just like taking up half of my hard drive, just sat there, unfinishedness, and then the other bits that I just keep binning off and getting rid of. But yeah, anyway, that's it. We are done for the scoop today. To go back over the news, if you were late in, there was only 3 stories today. The first one that we started with is that Cyberpunk's story isn't as long as the Witcher 3 story. But does that really matter? It's still going to be meaty enough. It sounds like a mountain's been made out of a molehill. It's not as big. Oh, great. But it's still going to be a wonderful story with everything and more. So don't worry about that. Cyberpunk is not as long as The Witcher, but it's definitely long enough to give you everything you need from a video game. Spider-Man's Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, which we've just covered now, takes at least 105 gigs on the PS5. So the size of the game is massive and will take up a considerable chunk of the hard drive. And then the other final story is just how big that hard drive is going to be inside the unit of the next-gen consoles. The Xbox Series X is quite big. The PS5 is quite big, and that is the difference. It's massive. But you know what? It's fine. You can just start subletting parts of it out. You know, I mean, I've seen places in London that are smaller be sold out for rent for much higher prices. So just buy a PS5, rent out the back component of it. Job's a good one. That's it. It'll be like the Flintstones when the giant dino ribs flips Fred car. So when you bring a PS5, make sure it's centered in your car. Exactly, that's it. But on that bombshell, we are going to wrap things up. We're going to finish things off because we have to jump off and jump back on with Masters of the League. That's our modded PES Master League on PCs. So it's not just got option files, it's got all the extras like menus and additional competitions and so on. So we're going to take you on a trip to ICUFC. So myself and Bib are the managers at the Ice Cream Uploads Arena. We are in the Premiership and we are contesting on all fronts. Champions League, FA Cup and Premiership right now. Doing pretty well too. So if you want to jump in and see how we get on with that, stick around in the channel. We are going to finish up on the scoop here though. We will go offline and we'll come back online with Masters of the League not too long after that. So if you want to see it, stick around. Before we do disappear though, Bib, is there anything you want to throw?
Yes, there is. If you do want to see anything get put on this podcast, if you see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, then do feel free to get in contact with us. All you need to do is find us on social media, which is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Spiral Alert, we are the only Ice Cream Uploads around. Second thing, join our Discord. Not only do we give you perfectly good community space for you to be able to go and join your friends, talk about video games, talk about what you've got in your featured players, or you want to play Fall Guys with someone but you've got no friends but you want to talk to other people on the internet. that's a good place to do it, but it's also a place for you to be able to drop in your articles, your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions in the very next show, which will be what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. ish.
If
Ish. We are back in the studio as well tomorrow. So tomorrow should be our first episode of The Scoop from within the Ice Cream Upload studio for 6, 7, 8 months or whatever it's been. So yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Make sure you join us there for that though. A couple of bits of housekeeping, just reminders before we go. We have the Muscle Moose Cup continues tonight. There will be a knockout, an 8-man knockout tournament taking place at 7 p.m. tonight. There was one space left for that. It might have gone while we've been on air, I'm not sure, but the link was in the chat a little bit earlier, and I can scroll back up and grab that maybe. No, I can't. God damn it. I don't suppose you got the link there, have you, babe? Actually, if I click...
I dropped it in the chat earlier.
Yeah, that's
Do it
right.
again, though.
Yeah, that's the one. Just because if anyone's joined, they won't be able to scroll back up. They've got it. Oh, you got it. Never mind. Twice! There is the link. So that's the link to the Muscle Moose Cup. So if you want to join in, if you can't join tonight, we have an event at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So there's 5 chances to qualify for the final, which will be on the Twitch front page next Wednesday, the 30th. So get involved. Get involved right there. The other thing to mention as well is sticking with Muscle Moose, we have a giveaway running, which will end on the same day as that final, so we can find out who wins. So check out that. You can win a Muscle Moose selection box there. So even if you don't qualify for the final, you could still win yourself some Muscle Moose goodies. And that is it. We're going to drop off. We will be back on the channel very, very soon. 10 minutes-ish, 15 minutes for the next episode of Masters of the League. So yeah, feel free to stick around. Till then, have yourselves a fantastic day and stay frosty.